Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. 90-Day Fiancé. Why the miscarriage could end Bilal and Shaeeda's relationship. Recently, 90-Day Fiancé. Happily ever after couple Shaeeda Sween and Bilal Aziz announced that Shaeeda had a miscarriage, leading to fears that the heartbreaking tragedy could end their relationship. 90-Day Fiancé viewers first met Shaeeda and Bilal when the lovebirds starred in the OG show's 9th installment. The couple met online and started to like each other. In 2019, Bilal, 43, traveled to Shaeeda's home country, Trinidad and Tobago, where they met in person for the first time. Bilal spent 7 days with Shaeeda, 37, in her native country, and this helped them to strengthen their bond. 90-Day Fiancé's Bilal Aziz and Shaeeda Sween's plans for their relationship were definitely hindered by the COVID-19 pandemic, which prevented them from seeing each other again. The two met in person in 2021, but experienced a range of setbacks in their quest to be together. One of the couple's issues was having kids, as Bilal, already a father of 2 from his previous marriage, wasn't sure he wanted children. However, Shaeeda wanted to have kids soon. After going back and forth on the issue, the lovebirds decided to have children and tied the knot on December 18, 2021. Sadly, they lost their baby, and their pain could cause Bilal and Shaeeda's relationship to end. One of the negative effects of a miscarriage can be a communication breakdown. While one partner might want to talk about it, the other party might prefer not to. Such an occurrence can cause either partner to become frustrated, worsening an already tragic situation. In Bilal and Shaeeda's heartbreaking post about their unfortunate miscarriage, the couple said the experience has brought them closer as husband and wife, which is good news. One can only hope that Bilal and Shaeeda's bond doesn't weaken as they continually cope with their sadness. Before becoming pregnant, Shaeeda was eager to have babies as quickly as possible, despite Bilal's reluctance to become a father for a 3rd time. Eventually, Bilal gave in to his wife's demands and proposed to her with a baby onesie. He showed his willingness to go on that journey with her. However, the emotional challenges linked with losing a child can change people and change childbearing plans. For example, Bilal may be reluctant to try for another child, while Shaeeda could be determined to conceive again because of her age. If the couple can't agree on trying for a baby after their painful miscarriage, they might go their separate ways. Miscarriages may have the negative effect of making couples like Bilal and Shaeeda feel like they can't support each other emotionally, as each is consumed with their own sense of loss. They might give each other space, even though they deeply care about each other. However, this sense of emotional distance could damage their marriage. It's possible that there will be problems in the future. Hopefully, the couple, who have been through so much and stuck by each other, will see all their dream comes true one day. 90-Day Fiancé. Happily ever after couple Shaeeda and Bilal may overcome their shared grief as a strong unit. In the world of 90-Day Fiancé, Bilal Aziz and Shaeeda Sween's relationship has already navigated a turbulent path. Their journey from different cultures to complicated family dynamics set the stage for drama. And now the heartbreak of Shaeeda's miscarriage threatens to disrupt their bond in profound ways. Bilal and Shaeeda have always had an intense connection, but they've also had vastly different approaches to family planning, trust, and future goals. In light of their recent tragedy, the loss of their unborn child might be a turning point that unearths deeper cracks in their relationship. 1. The loss of a shared dream. Since the beginning, one of the couple's most significant conflicts has been around the question of starting a family. Shaeeda, driven by her own desires and biological clock, wanted children quickly. Bilal, however, took a more hesitant approach, often cautious, citing practical reasons and perhaps personal fears about fatherhood. For Shaeeda, her miscarriage wasn't only a personal loss, it also symbolized the loss of a shared dream. Having had to convince Bilal to take the step toward parenthood, Shaeeda's tragedy may be intensified by a sense of betrayal. Was Bilal ever fully committed to her dream of starting a family, or did he agree only to appease her? For Shaeeda, the miscarriage is a heartbreaking loss in itself, but it also represents another kind of pain. The fear that Bilal was never truly on board. If she feels he's relieved, even subconsciously, it could create an irreparable rift between them. The idea that the tragedy might have prevented them from discovering his true feelings could be overwhelming for Shaeeda. This suspicion, whether true or not, might linger, creating a breeding ground for resentment that could unravel their relationship. 2. Cultural and familial expectations. The cultural divide between Bilal and Shaeeda has always added extra complexity to their relationship. Shaeeda, coming from a culture where family and children are paramount, may feel isolated in her grief, sensing a lack of emotional support from Bilal's side. Bilal's own views may align differently due to his upbringing and personal history, leading him to process the miscarriage in ways Shaeeda may not relate to. Her family and cultural community back in Trinidad might offer a stark contrast in support and expectations, adding to her growing sense of isolation. In moments of shared loss, having a common cultural understanding can be a powerful source of comfort. Without it, Shaeeda might feel adrift, especially if she perceives Bilal as emotionally distant or non-committal. 3. The layering trust issues. Bilal and Shaeeda's relationship has always been rocky when it comes to trust. Their history of prenuptial negotiations and Bilal's penchant for testing Shaeeda's intentions have planted seeds of mistrust that never fully dissipated. During this tragic time, Shaeeda may find herself wondering if Bilal is truly grieving alongside her, or if his focus remains on protecting his own interests. Shaeeda might also worry that Bilal is unwilling to be vulnerable with her, using practicality and pragmatism to distance himself from his feelings about the miscarriage. For Shaeeda, the tragedy demands vulnerability, empathy, and shared grief, qualities that Bilal sometimes struggles to exhibit openly. This misalignment could turn into a powerful wedge between them if Shaeeda interprets his stoicism as emotional unavailability, reinforcing past doubts about his genuine commitment to her. 4. Different coping mechanisms and growing apart. People process loss differently, and these differences can either strengthen or strain relationships. For Bilal, known for his measured approach to life, coping might mean a practical stance and focusing on the future rather than dwelling on the pain of the present. Shaeeda, however, may need to express her grief more openly, seeking emotional catharsis and connection. If Bilal's tendency is to downplay or sidestep emotional conversations, Shaeeda might feel he's dismissing her feelings, which could make her feel isolated in her grief. This contrast could lead her to feel misunderstood and unsupported, creating a painful emotional gap between them. As days turn into weeks, she might resent the sense that Bilal is moving on while she still mourns, reinforcing the idea that they're not emotionally compatible. 5. The biological clock debate reignited. Shaeeda has always been vocal about her desire to have a child sooner rather than later, while Bilal's more cautious approach often seemed to prioritize stability and his own readiness. Now the miscarriage may reignite this debate with even more intensity. Shaeeda, feeling the weight of time and the anguish of her loss, might press Bilal to try again sooner, while Bilal may be more hesitant, especially in light of the emotional toll of the miscarriage. If they disagree about how and when to move forward with family planning, their contrasting timelines and priorities might become irreconcilable. For Shaeeda, the ticking of her biological clock feels even louder after the loss, intensifying her sense of urgency. Bilal's reluctance might feel even more like a betrayal now, potentially highlighting a fundamental incompatibility in their goals for the future. 6. Relationship longevity questioned. With every 90-day fiancé couple, viewers can sense when the bond may be fraying, and this tragic incident could well become the breaking point for Bilal and Shaeeda. Sometimes shared grief strengthens relationships, helping people come together to find comfort and understanding in each other's presence. But other times, loss underscores incompatibilities, as each partner may find they can't be what the other needs. If Bilal and Shaeeda begin to drift apart, their unresolved issues around trust, cultural differences, family planning, and even differing values might come into sharper focus, suggesting a bleak future for their relationship. Their struggle to connect emotionally during this tragedy could hint that the fundamental differences that have haunted them since the beginning are still alive and well. 7. A path to healing or separation. For Bilal and Shaeeda, the miscarriage presents a crossroad. They could use this painful experience to build a deeper, more understanding relationship by confronting their issues head-on. If Bilal can recognize Shaeeda's need for emotional closeness and prioritize her needs, it might help repair some of the trust issues and lingering doubts between them. Similarly, if Shaeeda can understand Bilal's approach to grief and accept his need for space, they might find common ground in shared resilience. However, if they fail to align in their ways of coping and fail to resolve their differences about family planning, this could easily become the turning point that propels them towards separation. As 90-Day Fiancé viewers know, relationships on the show often end in heartbreak, especially when couples fail to bridge divides in culture, family values, and trust. Bilal and Shaeeda's journey could follow this unfortunate pattern if they don't use this tragedy to rebuild the foundation of their relationship. The uncertain road ahead. Ultimately, the tragedy of Shaeeda's miscarriage could reveal underlying incompatibilities that are too deep to ignore. The emotional fallout may expose the fault lines in their relationship, challenging them to either grow together or admit that their paths are too divergent to continue as one. For Bilal and Shaeeda, navigating this heart-wrenching loss will test not only their love, but also their willingness to compromise, support, and truly understand each other's needs. Only time will tell if they emerge from this loss stronger, or if the miscarriage becomes a permanent reminder of their fractured dreams.